Hello everybody and welcome back to another Schlip on Switch video. With the release of the Switch 2 swiftly approaching, I thought it would be fun to make a series of videos going through all the incredible games that Nintendo has given us. From first-party releases to third-party games that Nintendo published in North America, to first-party IP that Nintendo let third-party developers give us amazing experiences for. The Switch really has an incredible library, and I'll be making a series of videos going through all these year by year. This intro will be the same for all of them, so if you've already seen it, you can skip ahead, or you can watch it again, and each video will be linked in the description below, so subscribe, ring the bell for notification on future videos, and let's get started. I will be focusing only on the games, steelbooks, and the collector editions. While I do have a lot of amazing merchandise from a lot of incredible sources, I'll be only focusing on said products. So let's get started. Hello everybody and welcome back for part 7. Today we're going to go through all the Nintendo games that came out in 2023. Now, we're basically past the point where we had third-party releases with Nintendo IP or Nintendo publishing third-party games. So most of these games, all the games that we're talking about this year, are direct Nintendo games. So we're going to start off with the first game. This was interesting, actually, before we start that. This was a little interesting year where there was a lot of games that I was really excited for. There's a lot of games from this year that are still on my backlog. And there's a lot of games here that I was really excited for, but ultimately, wasn't as great as I was hoping. But to start off the year, on January 20th, we got Fire Emblem Engage. Now, along with Fire Emblem Engage, we also got the Steelbook. And the Steelbook came in this really cool collector edition. So yeah, Fire Emblem Engage, I was really excited when this game was announced. I had previously gotten into the Fire Emblem series with Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which is one of my favorite games, period. And I was really excited to dive into a new Fire Emblem. Between the release of 3 Houses and Engage, I went back and played Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS, and I liked it. But I didn't play any other ones besides for the Warriors. And now with this new release, I was really excited. Even though this was stripping down all these social aspects of a lot of the social aspects that we had in 3 Houses without having the monastery, but you did have the Somniel, which was a nice little area to explore and interact with your allies and do different things. This game also only has one storyline, unlike 3 Houses, which had 3.5. This only had 1. So I started playing this game when it released, and I was enjoying it. I wasn't getting as invested in it as I did with 3 Houses. And then at one point I just stopped playing it. Maybe a little bit around halfway through the game, I just stopped. I don't know why, I don't have a specific reason. But recently, about 2 years after that, I jumped back into it and I finished it up. The funny thing is that I was actually, the last time I played the game was on my way going to a international trip. And then when I continued the game 2 years later, it was, again, while I was on my way to the same location 2 years later. Just a little funny thoughts. But yeah, so the gameplay in 3 Houses is so much fun. The battles are incredible, and all the additions that they add to Engage just make the game so much fun. And while the actual cast of characters and your allies I didn't connect with as much as I did in 3 Houses, I didn't really do much of the social aspects in this one, but the battles were so much fun. And when you have the emblem rings, which brings back the heroes from the previous games, even though I didn't know most of them because I didn't play too many of the games, it was still really fun interacting with them and testing out their powers and pinning their rings on different characters, mixing and matching skills. I had a lot of fun. And the final boss and this and the end of the story, I just found really, really fun. The story at the end was a little nonsensical and, not But it was fun. I liked it. Taking a 2-year break in middle definitely didn't help. But once I jumped back into the game, it pulled me back in just exactly as I needed it to. So yeah, I had a blast with this game overall, and the visuals are beautiful on the Switch. The music is phenomenal, and I've been recently really liking listening to the soundtrack on the Nintendo Music app while I'm at the gym. It just so much fun, and a really really amazing game with a great start to 2023. So yeah, I didn't get the DLC though for the game, so I didn't play that section. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back to it, but maybe one day I'll get the DLC and jump back in. But I'm really excited to see the future of the series and hopefully get around to actually trying some of the older games, even though I'm still scared of the games without a casual mode, because that scares me, because I am... Anyways. So yeah, Fire Emblem Engage, if you played this game, let me know in the comments what you thought of it, and let's discuss it. Alright, moving on. Alright, next up, on February 22nd, we got the physical release for Metroid Prime Remastered. Now, Metroid Prime Remastered launched digitally on February 9th, but only got the physical release about 2 weeks later, and we're just happy it got a physical release. So, I didn't really have much to say about the Metroid series, so I'm going to pull in Chaim, because I think he'll have a word or two to say.
Yes, here is someone who has a lot to say about it.
Oh, more than a word or two?
Definitely more than a word or two.
Okay,
probably like 1,600.
It's
like a small essay, really.
Okay, let's do that.
First things first, I loved Metroid Prime on GameCube. I didn't finish it, but it left such a huge impression on me because it was such a huge game that was focused on exploration. And while we're exploring things, I really did not appreciate that it was digital and then it became physical. Like, if this had been left digital only, I would have never played this. But there's something I loved about Metroid, where you went and you got something, you upgraded her arm, can't remember which arm it was, because I'm directionally challenged, and you got the world bigger and bigger. And maybe it wasn't an open world in the construct that is today. Right arm, okay? I'm directionally challenged. I still hold my fingers up when I'm driving. I really loved the world building, that it was done with a lot of atmospheric storytelling. I really enjoyed that the game wasn't so much a shooter, so I know you're hesitant about shooters. The game is more of a
about the
adventure.
First person than the shooters.
It's a really good take on a first-person game, and if it's the first-person game you play, try saying that 3 times fast, first-person game you play, this is a good one to start with, honestly.
I played a few first-person games and I always just have a hard time.
Well, try again. This is a masterpiece. The game is beautifully restored. It captures the same exact feel as it did in the GameCube Glory Days and GameCube Purple. And, not that the game isn't GameCube Purple, but the game itself, there's that sense of wonder when you get past the pirate frigate and you leave and you get on the planet that you made some landing on, and suddenly as you're going through the overworld and then you get into the ruins and the caverns and the ice space and then more of the jungle and then a crashed pirate frigate, there's so much in the game that's just done right. The fact that there's concept art both from the original and the remastered that shows a different take on some of the designs and whatnot, I appreciated everything that was done to give us the same game, but with a little more, and not significantly raising the price, because wasn't the price $39.99 for this? I don't remember.
I think it was something similar.
It was a lower priced game, but they didn't add so much content to it, which is great, because this was a lower priced game that delivers a high priced experience, because that was such a full game. I love this game, and it had definitely gotten me excited to play the Metroid Prime series, but for some reason, I actually didn't play the next game or the game after that, and I'm eagerly waiting the 4th one, but I will play 2 and 3 prior to playing 4. That much I promise.
So I think it's probably a little blasphemous that I was at the Nintendo Switch 2 launch event, not launch event, but like the try event, whatever you want to call it, in New York, and I did not try Metroid Prime 4.
face palming.
I was going to try it, but the lines for that section were just so long, and I didn't realize that they were limiting how many games you can actually play. Because before I went in, they said you could play every single game, and then when you actually got to the floor, they only let you do 6.
The hype is real, though.
So
the hype
I didn't
was real.
end up playing Metroid Prime 4 there. I did want to try it out, especially with mouse mode. And it's kind of odd that we still haven't heard anything about a remaster for 2 and 3, because having only Metroid Prime 1 and 4 on Switch is an interesting choice. But who knows? Because we don't have a launch date for Metroid Prime 4 as of release, recording this video, maybe they'll surprise us and Shadow drop 2 and 3. But
it's still a choice, not giving us 2 or 3
before they Shadow drop them before they release 4. So who knows? We still got time.
Fingers crossed. Nintendo, please let us have this, please.
So yeah, Metroid Prime Remastered. Did you play this game? Whether you played the remaster on Switch or the GameCube original, let us know what you think of this game. Let's discuss it in the comments. Next up, on February 24th, we got Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Now, this is the third Kirby game to come to the Switch, and our third main Kirby with a physical. There were other digital-only games. And our first port. This is a port/remake/expansion on the Wii original game. Taking Kirby back to a 2D after the amazing 3D we got with Forgotten Land. This takes Kirby back to 2D and brings the Wii game over. And when the Wii game came out on the Wii, I was always interested in trying it out. But I never ended up getting it. And then when this released, timing didn't work out to pick it up and play it, even though I really wanted to. I ended up only picking this up specifically so I had the physical for this video. But it is a game I really want to play. So there is that. I do really want to play this game. It's a port of the Wii game and includes a epilogue with bonus episode with one of the characters. And it looks really good, and I heard good things about it, so I'm going to play it eventually. Backlogs. Anyways, if you played Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, whether you played it on the Wii or you played the Switch version, let me know in the comments what you think of the game, and let's discuss it. And now, for our next game, we got Bayonetta Origins Cereza and the Lost Demon. This released on March 27th, and it came with a steelbook in Europe. This was a European exclusive, that's why I have a German copy of this game. So, yeah, Bayonetta Origins really takes the Bayonetta franchise in a new direction. I remember when the trailer for this released at the Game Awards, I'm like, this looks beautiful. I was actually at a wedding when they released that trailer, and I'm like, on my phone at the wedding looking at it. Anyways. It wasn't like during one of the main parts of the wedding. It was just like afterwards, drinking, dancing, eating. I'm just looking at my phone. But yeah, this looked really cool. At that point, I didn't play Bayonetta 3 yet, and I played Bayonetta 3 a few months ago, as of the recording of this, and I enjoyed it, and I do really want to get to this game. This game really takes the really different gameplay style, and the visuals are just stunning, and I heard good things about it. I just need to get to it. But I just finished Bayonetta 3, so I gotta wait a little bit before I jump into the next Bayonetta. But this is definitely another one that's on my list of games to play. So yeah, if you played Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon, let me know what you think of it, because it looks really, really fun, and I want to try it out. And my case is in German, so I don't even know what it says on the back. But yeah, moving on to another game. 3 games in a row that are stuck in my backlog. We got another game I was waiting a long time. This one took a long time to actually come out from when it was announced. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, released finally on April 21st. This game was delayed and delayed and delayed. But yeah, this is a remake combination of 2 Game Boy Advance games, and I always wanted to try those Game Boy Advance games, but I never got around to them. And then when it came to the Switch, I was like, I really want to try those. This was a really cool looking remake of those 2 games, done by WayForward. But Nintendo IP and Nintendo published. It doesn't even say WayForward anywhere on here. This looks like a really fun strategy RPG, akin to Fire Emblem. And I want to play it, so I'll have to get to it, because they look really good. Backlogs, help! Help! Anyways, so Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Did you play this game? If you have, let me know in the comments what you think of it. because it looks really good. So let's discuss it. All right, and now for the big game of the year. What is it? Is it one that will live up to the hype? Stay tuned to find out. Next up, on May 12th, we got The Legend of Zelda Breath Tears of the Kingdom. This game also came with a really big collector edition and a steelbook. Now, I went to the Nintendo New York store for this launch event, which was a lot of fun. I only got a pass for the 11 a.m. and waited online there, but it was a lot of fun going to the Nintendo store for this release and seeing all the people dressed up, and got it. And now to talk about the game, I'd like to welcome back my good friend Ellie and Chaim. So this follow-up to Breath of the Wild I was really excited for. But I knew going into it that my attention span just wasn't the same as it used to be.
Same.
And I'll be way too focused on just getting objectives done and not just getting as lost in the world as I was. I was a little bit nervous about seeing the emphasis of the Ultra Hand mechanic, because I'm not great when it comes to like building games and those sandbox style stuff. And at the end of the day, I did not really like that. I did not really explore much in that. But I did find some cool builds online that I just replicated and then just like used the copy things, just ultra do them. I did have a great time just going through my objectives of getting every single light route, every single shrine, and completing the story, which I had a lot of fun doing that. I just wasn't as engrossed in it. I was lost in it as I was with.
So was it better than Breath?
No, definitely not as good, better than Breath. Now, I can see why some people might like it better than Breath, but for me, I did enjoy Breath of the Wild more. Now, Ellie, what did you think about the game?
So for me, it was a bit of a disappointment coming from Breath of the Wild, because it involved a lot more physics-based things. For example, Ultra Hand. I am not good with any kind of building or hands-on kind of stuff. So trying to figure out even how to build a simple boat was extremely hard for me, because I have that visual perception issue where I just can't do stuff like that. So that was a huge turnoff for me. Even exploring the introductory island, I just had a heck of a time. So once I got off the island, I explored a little bit, but then I just didn't really continue, because I had to use a lot of, it used a lot of my brain power, and it was not something that I enjoyed a lot. It was just very challenging for me, and so like I didn't enjoy this game as much as Breath's, because it was a turnoff for me, frankly. I mean, the graphics were good. The story was phenomenal. I thought the story was so much better than in Breath. The music was still phenomenal. The voice acting was stellar. But that one thing was just overpowered everything else. It just didn't let me enjoy the game as much as I probably could have.
They overhyped the game, in my honest opinion. Like, when we saw the first trailer that said, oh yeah, Breath of the next Zelda's coming.
Sequel to Breath of the Wild's in development.
I was immediately interested. But then the fact that it turned into years before we got this, and I got this, I mean, the shortest summary I can give is bigger, better, worse. It's like, it's emptier. It's even more empty, because now you've got the underground where everything starts to run together. Then you've got the Sky Islands, which are so sparse, and all of them start to look the same after a while. And let's talk about those shrines, which came back, and they've beat that horse way too much in this game for me.
Oh, I didn't touch any of the shrines.
I'm burned out. I haven't even finished the game yet.
Personally,
my attention span is gone.
Personally, I really enjoyed all the shrines, and I enjoyed those mini puzzles. And one thing I actually wanted to say about this game, while in Breath of the Wild, I was looking up a lot of guides to find all the different shrines, and I enjoyed that because I wanted to get all 120 shrines pre-DLC in Breath of the Wild, and I had a blast doing that. One thing I actually liked in Tears of the Kingdom is, while I did not do a lot in the depths, I did find that a little boring and empty, I had an absolute blast using a hover bike, going around the depths, and finding all those light routes, which then finding all those light routes showed me exactly where on the map the shrines were, and helped me hunt down all the shrines. And I didn't have to use a guide as much.
And you can use it vice versa.
And I didn't have to use a guide as much, and I loved that, because some of that was mainly just focusing on hunting down those shrines. I'm going to say something you're going to say I did not play the game right. I did not do any of the boss rematches in the depths, and I did not fight a single Gleeok in this game. But they
You
were
haven't
cool
lived
to
if you
see.
haven't fought a Gleeok. You need to fight a damn Gleeok. You don't know what it's like.
The only Gleeok I ever fought was in the original Legend of Zelda, and that was the only Gleeok I ever fought. I never fought Tears Gleeoks before.
My goal in
And
this
Tears
game was
Gleeoks, they're adorable. Just like the Lionel, they're so adorable.
my goal in this game was to get all those shrines, all those light roots, and the main story, and I had an absolute blast doing that. And just seeing how far I could get on a hover bike. And
the hover bike was so overused, and you look at the videos online, everyone's using a hover bike. But the thing that bothers me more than anything in this game is, yeah, weapons durability was improved, but the fact that vehicles you made disappeared after far too short a time, like when you're in the air, that made no sense to me. That was
seeing
stupid.
how far I could get before my vehicle just disappeared.
Like, rage mode activated right now.
I also had a lot of fun with all the duplication glitches that people found online.
But they took them all out, so now I have no incentive to play the game anymore.
I did not play this game properly, but I enjoyed my time with it, even if I did not like it as much as Breath. But, again, let's focus on what Tears was. And let's try to, as I say, I always focus on a product for what it is and not what it isn't. And
it did improve what Breath did wrong. Where all the dungeons in Breath of the Wild just ran together aesthetically. Same with the stupid shrines that all look the same. It was a marginal improvement at best with all of the little temples. Granted, they got repetitive. They felt like a reskinned Divine Beast, but they had different aesthetics. And it was so cool to have, like, a buddy there, which is a cool thing. Because you probably remember back in the day having Navi, you know, hey, listen!
Hey, listen!
All the time.
Yeah.
She was such a great partner, said nobody ever.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
But Midna from Twilight Princess, that was it. She was the greatest of all time.
I did enjoy getting to partner up with the younger characters that we met in the earlier game.
But you didn't partner with Teba. That was the one I wanted to partner with most.
Yeah. And having them exploring with you. That was a cool, addition. It did get a little overblown sometimes, where some of them would just do things that you didn't want them to do.
That's why you love Tulin, right? Don't you love Tulin?
Yes. But out of this entire, I'm going to just call it a trilogy of Breath, Tears, and Age of Calamity. I love Breath. Age of Calamity was just perfection for me.
That was way better.
Tears. Honestly. But that's a Muso game, so it's just a whole other ballpark. But I love my good Nintendo Muso games.
But I love Zelda as a long-term fan of Zelda. And I love that if you did play both Breath and Tears, there were places named after old things in the game. If you remember them, you see the names, I'm like, oh, that's really familiar. But I felt like Breath of the Wild was big and empty. Tears was 3 times as empty because you have so much more content to fill.
Right.
And in a game that's $20 more than Breath of the Wild, 10, 15, whatever, how many more dollars it was, I proportionally expected more, and I proportionally got less.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree earlier on that the story was improved. It had a lot of good moments, and I think that's the strongest Zelda we've seen yet.
The voice acting also helped.
In terms of Princess Zelda. The journey she went through, that was incredible. And
okay, so the parts that I did actually play, I did get a couple of memories, and I love the ones with Queen Sonia and
she's the best.
And Raru, King Raru. I thought that was absolutely stellar. I mean, that sub-story was just that was really amazing.
Ganondorf was iconic in
Yes.
this. Can we talk about that costume? That was fierce.
Did you notice the bow, by the way? The bow that he used when he bowed in front of King Raru was the same form that he did in Ocarina of Time.
I noticed that.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you played some of the other games, you might get some of these beautiful references, these callbacks to the great game and lineage that is Zelda.
And one more thing. I did watch videos of all of the memories in that game, and there was one memory. I don't know if you noticed when Ganondorf was attacking the castle, and you had Queen Sonia, King Raru, and Zelda. When he did this, and the flash of light came, did you notice that it flashed the Triforce for a split second?
Yeah, briefly.
So, Tears of the Kingdom was definitely a game that, was amazing, but maybe did not live up to what the three of us were.
You mean the hype? It was hyped a lot.
For what the three of us expected. Obviously a lot of people did feel like this game lived up to the hype. So let me know in the comments what you think of it, and let's discuss this game. So, yeah, now let me know what you think of it, and let's move on to the next game. All right, everybody. Well, now, after that game came the most important. You thought Zelda was the most important game of the year? No. The real most important game of the year released on June 30th. Everybody want to Switch. This is the game of the year that everyone was waiting for. Right? Am I wrong there? Oh. Everybody want to Switch. Okay. I said this earlier, if you were sticking along the series. I enjoyed 1-2 Switch. It was stupid. It wasn't great. It should have been a pack-in, but I had fun with it. And I was willing to give everybody 1-2 Switch a try. Did I ever play this copy? No, I did not. Have I played the game? Yes, I have. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Nintendo New York, at their store, a week after this released, had a gameplay party, whatever, and you can sign up. And the game advertises up to 100 people, so I wonder how many people they wanted to actually come to the event. But there was about 20 people there. And there was a lot more room if they needed to fit more people. But they had about 20 people coming in and playing the game all together. And it was a lot of fun. Like, maybe it was just because we're all just, like, Nintendo nerds in the Nintendo store playing everybody 1-2 Switch together that it was fun. But it was fun. And just so you know, they had, the Nintendo employees leading the games and playing it with a bunch of people. I went there with someone who I was friends with back then. We're not going to talk about that. But it was fun. I had a lot of fun playing this at the Nintendo store. And I always wanted to give it some time. Just never did. Because I don't have 100 people to play this with. Do you have 100 people to play this with? Should we find 100 people to play this with? Anyways, that was 1-2 Switch. Everybody 1-2 Switch. Their sequel everybody needed. Now, I want to see what the 1-2 Switch 2 series is going to bring on the Switch 2. 1-2 Switch 2? That sounds fun. Anyways, let's see if they do it. Nintendo, do it. You know you want to. And then, the next game, on July 21st, we got the long-awaited Pikmin 4. I know people are waiting a long time for a new release in the Pikmin series. And it's a series that I, never felt the need to jump at, but it's always something I wanted to give a try. And the Switch is a great platform to play the series on, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. So, July 21st, Pikmin 4. Did you play the game? If you have, let me know in the comments what you think of it. But we're not going to talk much about Pikmin just yet, because on September 22nd, we got the physical release for Pikmin 1 and 2. Now, while the digital versions of both of these games are released on June 21st, a month before Pikmin 4, the physical release didn't get released until, almost 2 months later.
Grumble.
3 months later, actually.
More grumbling.
And unlike Prime Remastered, where the physical release of these GameCube ports, that one released 2 weeks later. This took 3 months between.
That should not have taken that length of time.
Between the digital and the physical, which is a shame. But at least we got a physical, and both games on one cartridge, and also for a really good price of $40 for both. Now, GameCube remasters, remakes, ports were priced all over the place on the Switch, especially with Prime being $40 for one game, this being $20 for each game, $40 for the physical. And then next year, we got, the best GameCube port remaster that we could ask for, but we'll talk about it then.
You're giving too many spoilers.
Spoiler alert for something that happened. Alright, so I did not play any of the Pikmin games, so let's pull in.
Someone over here did.
Yeah, well, we'll let him introduce himself.
I loved Pikmin. I remember playing the very first Pikmin game on GameCube. Nothing will ever feel as epic or as stressing as Olimar's ship going through space and you get hit by a damn asteroid and looks like you're, up the creek without a paddle, as they say. It was such an adorable little game, and if you've never played it, it's what you call like a real-time strategy game. It's like Nintendo's Stamp on a real-time strategy, and I really loved it because it was done with such a heart. It was done with a cuteness, and like it had little Pikmins that were just super adorable. The red, the yellow, and the blue, and all of them had like special traits, and they got like flowers, and it was super adorable. And every day it tracked how many Pikmin you got, and sadly how many Pikmin you like lost. So it was really sad at points. But what was adorable was you had to get your whole ship pieces put together. You had to get everything to get off the island because, oh, really super cute and Marie would die after 30 days.
So yeah, these are games I do want to play. As I said,
Pikmin 2, though, took that same game idea and then gave you the goal of having to get enough items worth however many game currency you owed. It was really cool because it added 2 new Pikmin colors, which you probably have seen if you've ever seen the original GameCube art. And again, it's one of those examples of a sequel done right. Because it expanded the gameplay, gave you all the same gameplay that you had in the previous one, but then added more to it. I like the fact that it wasn't so much despair as it was, well, now we've got to get up again the same creek without another paddle because we're in debt and we've got to do something about it. This was such an adorable game, and I played both of them on GameCube, both of them giving me such fond, fuzzy memories.
Now, as I was said, I didn't really play any of the Pikmin games besides Pikmin Bloom for a few months.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't.
No, we don't know her. Just like Mariah Carey, we don't know her.
But I do want to try them out. And let me ask you this time, does this have the motion controls that the Wii version added?
I don't remember there being motion controls, and if there were, I didn't play with them because that's not how you originally did it.
I think they did. Like, the games originally came out on GameCube, then when they were brought to the Wii, they added motion controls.
But that was a Wii gimmick. Almost every Wii game had something with the nunchuck or the controller.
So I think this did as well. I'm not 100% sure. I was hoping you know, but anyways.
I don't know everything. Sorry.
Pikmin 1 and 2. Did you play these games? And if you did, let us know which version, because you got 3 to pick from. So let us know in the comments what you thought of the game, and let's discuss it. All right.
Okie dokes.
All right, next up on October 6th, we got Detective Pikachu Returns. Now, Detective Pikachu Returns is the sequel to the 3DS game, which I never played. I always wanted to try it out, but I didn't. And I did enjoy the movie that they put out for Detective Pikachu, even though that has nothing to do with this. But the sequel is one of those rare games that is apparently a dud from Nintendo. I didn't hear great things about this game. And even though I do want to try it out eventually, I'm not anything I'm rushing towards. But I did go to the Nintendo store to pick this up on release day, and just never played it. So, Detective Pikachu Returns. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but if you have anything to say about this, let me know in the comments below. And now, let's move on to the next game. Next up, on October 20th, we got the absolutely incredible and phenomenal Super Mario Bros. Wonder. October 20th. This game is fantastic. Absolute perfection. And so much fun. This was the only game that I went to the Nintendo New York Store midnight release for. I wanted to go for Zelda, but those reservations went out way too quickly. But I did get a 1 a.m. reservation for the Nintendo New York Store for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and then a friend of mine had a pass for midnight that he wasn't able to use, so I just took that pass, went in for midnight, and then Chaim, who's not in this part of the video, he took my 1 a.m. pass and joined me, but they still let him in early. They had a lot of fun to do in the store, but outside the store, already starting at like 5, 6 o'clock. Went there, had some fun outside the store at the events, then went to see a Broadway show, came back and waited on the line. And, well, it was really, really cool. While we were waiting online, Doug Bowser came by, so got to meet him. And he liked my shirt. I was wearing the same shirt then. He said he liked it. Got a nice picture with him. Playing some Smash Bros. On a projector on a garage door while waiting. And then finally, we got into the store and got the game. Then had to take a subway home, which, at 2 in the morning isn't fun. Or 1 in the morning because we got into the store early. But yeah, anyways, that was about that. But the game was so much fun. Bringing back some amazing 2D Mario action. I love 2D Mario. And the worlds, the new art style, the Wonder Flowers, the Wonder Seeds, the music, the visuals, the jump levels, which made me want to kill myself. No, I didn't actually, but it was a lot of fun. This game was just such a joy to play through and just explore every level, collect everything as much as I can. The final boss in this game is one of my favorite Mario final bosses, period, even though I haven't played them all. And just an absolutely incredible game. I completed 99.9% of this game. I did not finish that last level. I literally got up to the last room of the last level, but the invisible flower, so frustrating. I cannot do that one. Or the invisible badge, I mean. I cannot do that. So, everything else I did. 99.9% completes. I rage quit. That's the only thing that, ruined the game for me, is it forcing me to rage quit. But otherwise, I just love this game so much. And just absolute perfect return to 2D Mario. And I can't wait for the next 2D Mario to see what it's like. Because this game is so much fun. Anyways, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, because I love it. And let's discuss it. And next up, on November 3rd, we got WarioWare Move It. I need to play this still. It looks fun. I never super got into WarioWare, but I always want to get into WarioWare, and I think I'll get into it a little bit more if I try. I just need to do it. And this is relying on motion controls, and it looks fun, and I want to play it. I just need to get to it, because it looks cool. And another one that I didn't pick up right away, I just picked this up for the video. But I'm happy I have it, because it looks really, really fun. And I should play it. But if you play this, let me know in the comments, and let's discuss it, because it looks awesome. Alright. And now, for the last game of 2023. And now, for our last game of 2023.
Drumroll!
A game that, besides just being an incredible game, started a renaissance that made my life so happy. We got Super Mario RPG.
It's okay.
Released on November 17th, this remake of the SNES original Mario RPG game made me so happy with its existence.
I didn't even know that this was possible or going to happen because Nintendo and Square Enix had not repaired their relationship to my awareness at this point.
Well, given the amount of Square Enix games that Nintendo published as Nintendo published games on the Switch, which we've spoken about a lot in the series, having this coming was not a surprise.
It was to me, though.
It was a surprise, but still, it was just a surprise coming, and it just makes me so happy. Now, released originally on the SNES, it was titled Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
They should have kept that on the title.
But this is actually more modeled after the Japanese version of the game, which did not have that subtitle and had the artwork looking like this on the Japanese version of the SNES game, while the American version changed up the title and the artwork. So this brings us back to that Japanese original.
This was the game that inspired Paper Mario and the much-beloved sequel Thousand Year Door, which many of us loved on the GameCube era.
And it also inspired Mario and Luigi, which is my favorite sub-series in the Mario arc. And this game, I originally played this game. I was in 6th grade, boarding at a family I was going to school in a different city than where I lived, and I was living at a family, boarding in their house, and they had on their family computer an emulator with a bunch of games, and I discovered Super Mario. Super Mario. They were hard, just absolutely hard.
Okay, well, I still think it's cool that you have an emulator because not everyone knows how to do that.
They didn't know. Someone just put it on their computer, and I started playing this game, and I fell in love with the game. I did not understand everything I was doing. Back 11-year-old me did not play a lot of video games, didn't understand a lot what was going on, but I was loving the game and enjoying it. I never finished it.
It's a charming game. It's very cozy. I'd file this into the cozy games. I didn't love the isometric 3D of it because I thought Brothership handled the 2D, 3D style really well. This is a game that was beautiful because the music was great. It was beautifully rearranged, everything. There were new cutscenes and a couple new gimmicks that had changed. But when you play Paper Mario and then you go and play this, you see why everyone loves it. But then there's the lack of action.
There's also
commands.
the world being as it was an SNES game, the world is a faithful recreation of that. While the graphics are completely overhauled, the layout of the world and the size of the world is an exact one-to-one recreation. They don't make areas bigger because the Switch can handle something different. They don't move stuff around on the map just because the Switch can handle that. Everything of that. They do change some stuff in the music. They added some new features in the battle system, but the overworld and exploration is the same. They also added a couple, post-game optional bosses and stuff. But, the lack of added content was a little, personally I didn't feel anything about that, but I know some, older fans did think. I was just so happy. This was a game that every time I bought a gaming system, I wanted to play this. One of the main reasons I even bought a 3DS was because I heard 3DS could buy SNES games. And I was very disappointed that this was not included in that. I didn't do enough research beforehand, but I anyways wanted a 3DS.
There would have been a homebrew had you known how to do that. I have no idea how to do that.
Yeah, myself. I never did it on my 3DS, and I'm probably not gonna. And when the SNES Mini came out, I tried to get it, but I couldn't get it. And then this game just made me so happy. It was just perfection.
And it's alright. I liked it for what it was, but when you're a Paper Mario fan, the worlds feel really small, and each little world feels so chunked, so small.
He's not appreciating the fact that this is where all those came from. He's appreciating it, but he's sad that it's not the sequels.
Because I loved the world that they built, but I wanted a little more heft in each section. I felt like I was rushing through things because every section felt rushed.
It is a short game.
That was the thing I got, and I would have loved, even if they would have padded it out, I would have liked that.
See, this is one of the biggest differences between the two of us, is he always thinks what could have been different, and I always think about how to enjoy the product we have on hand.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually did enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but I still consider this a relic of the SNES era that we're lucky to have on the Switch because it introduces a bunch of new people to a game that they would have never played otherwise, perhaps.
But yeah, this bringing us a resurgence to the Mario RPG, which this was the last game that came out in 2023, but throughout 2024, just being a Super Mario RPG, turn-based Mario fan, this was just the start of a beautiful era that I can't wait to see the continuation.
Yeah, for both of us. It's funny that you were in the Mario and Luigi, I was in the Paper Mario series, and still am.
Because he likes console gaming, I like handheld gaming, and we're going to talk about that more in the 2024 video, because there is more to talk about that, but this being
much more juicy.
Beautiful start. And just this exploring the world with original characters with Gino and Mallow, having the Square Enix, redoing this game with Nintendo. The charm, the humor in this game was so good.
Oh, it was funny. I loved it. It had some great writing.
If you haven't played this game before, or if you have played the game before, and I was saying, I didn't know a lot about video games back in the day. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't played the game, but if you have played the game, you'll understand what I'm saying. It took me probably multiple days to figure out how to actually get past the first battle in this game. And this game makes it so much easier to figure that out. Was I an idiot then? Probably.
No, I wouldn't say that.
But
not at all. Like, when I was a kid, I had the same issue with Metroid Prime. If we cycle back to that, I got discouraged very easily. And then when I figured it out, I was like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life?
I found that
makes more sense
so
later.
funny. I don't even remember how long it took us to actually figure out, between me, my brother, the kids of the family who we were living with then, to actually figure out how to get into the game. I didn't beat the game back then. I got far. I was obsessed with it. And
so how far do you remember getting, do you think? Like,
probably close to the return to Bowser's Castle.
That makes sense. And at this point, why would that be a spoiler if it's been out for more than 30 years?
Right?
Even 30 years plus?
Yeah, even that's not a straight story spoiler. But this game was so good, and I'm just really happy that I finally got the opportunity to play the game.
I am glad I finally got to play it, because I would not have played this on an SNES, nor on an SNES emulator. This allowed me to enjoy the experience for what it could be today.
And the new graphics and the cutscenes were absolutely stunning. It would have been cool if they had a toggle feature like some other ports get, but I understand why they didn't do it.
The best part of this game, honestly, is peak Nintendo is Mario Peach and Bowser playing together in the same space. Like, can we talk about that for just like 5 seconds?
Oh, so
Chef's kiss.
the wedding cake scene in this game was just perfect with the new graphics.
Also, I know how much you loved Valentina.
I think you're mistaking me with yourself.
Exactly. I thought it was the best.
All right, so let's bring this 2023 video to close. Super Mario RPG. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this game if you played it. If you played the SNES original, or if you only played the remake, or if you played both. Let us know in the comments, and let us know in general what 2023 meant for you in the video game space. Whether one of these games included in this video was the top of the year, whether something that wasn't even... whether it's a different game on the Nintendo Switch or
a brand new game.
Or a game on a different platform, or even a game that you played in 2023 that didn't come out in 2023. Gaming's awesome. I love gaming. I just want to talk about games, even if it's not a game I played or interested in playing. It's just fun to see what people are passionate about.
It's so exciting getting to experience new worlds and seeing how well that world is built and how drawn in you are to it. And cycling back to Paper Mario, you'll never hear me stop cycling back to Paper Mario. That game built a world that was so compelling
save
and
it
pulled me
for
in.
the next video.
I know, I'm going to.
So, 2023 comes to a close. We got only one more part left in this video. All other parts will be linked in the description below, and stay tuned. Now, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, share with your friends, subscribe, and ring the bell for notification on future videos, and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.